Welcome to the Weekly Mac. Today we talk about sins. How many of them are there? How many of them do we commit? Two actors will answer these and more questions. Vives and Ferran Vilajosana, who are on stage these days with the plays Afanys, perduts and La Tendresa. We'll also hear the confessions of Èric Vergés of Els Catarres. Not only that, he will sing in English just for us. Do you like murder books? Today our quiz game is about crime literature with Màrius Serra and Patricia Escalona. Let's begin the Weekly Mac, your talk show in English, hosted by Marcella Topor.
Hello. According to religion, we are all sinners to a greater or lesser extent, including today's guests. They are two young Catalan actors that we have seen on cinema, TV and theatre. Even if they are young, we can almost be sure that they both have committed some sins at least. Before we get to know them, watch the following definitions of words that will appear in the interview.
We start today's glossary with quite a solemn word, oath. When you take an oath, you make a formal promise to tell the truth or to do what you said you will. In a court of law, you say that someone is on oath or under oath when they have made this promise. The second concept of the glossary is fed up. If you are fed up of something, you are unhappy, bored or tired of something, especially something that you have been experiencing for a long time. Now pay attention to this slang word, moron. When you refer to someone as a moron, you think that they are very stupid or foolish. And we finish having a look at a verb, to brag. If you brag about something, you boast or you speak about it in a very proud way.
Both of our guests today are currently playing on stage. Vives is in Shakespeare's Afanys perduts and Ferran Vilajosana acts in La Tendresa, a contemporary play which is actually inspired by Shakespeare's comedies. The works of the famous playwright are packed with sins. Well, today we'll see what these two artists have learned about them. Well, Vives and Ferran Vilajosana, welcome to the Weekly Mag.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, you are both involved. You are performing in plays. In your case, Peter by Shakespeare and Ferran inspired by Shakespeare. That's a really great coincidence.
Yeah, it is. A very English coincidence.
Did you guys know each other before?
Kind of, yeah. This, actors kind of gather in different social occasions, and I think we met. Do you remember when it was exactly?
No, I want to say,
all right,
I helped you.
You helped me?
For an audition you got in Madrid.
Really?
Yeah. Did you get the role?
I can't remember what audition you helped me with.
For one movie.
I can't remember, man. Well, I obviously didn't get it, if I can't remember.
You didn't get
so
it.
obviously not. Damn, I mean, that's
I'm not
fascinating.
going to help you more, so
No,
I'm
absolutely.
not
I mean,
helpful.
please do, and next time I'll remember. Geez, that means we've done so many auditions.
Okay.
Sure, right?
Well, let's hope that today you're gonna know each other better. Let's start with the plays you're in. Peter.
Yeah.
Afanys perduts. Yes.
Yep.
On show at the Teatre Nacional de Catalunya, Sala
Exactly.
Petita.
Correct.
What would you say is the main theme of the show?
What's the main theme of Love Labour's Lost? I love saying the title in English because it just sounds so nice. So it's four gentlemen, the king and three lords. I'm one of the lords.
Actually, it's set in the Pyrenees, no? At least in the original Shakespeare play.
In Navarre, exactly.
In
Navarre, in the Rhine of... And so the king of Navarre and his three lords kind of make this oath. Kind of like, sins and breaking sins. It's a bit of like the same subject. We make an oath, it's like young guys who say, let's just study and be better people and forget about women, forget about food, forget about sleeping too much and just focus on study during 3 years. Like, we want to be intellectuals. Like,
wow.
I think of it like I want to be a Jedi, and kind of just like focus and, control my mind and stuff. And obviously then just, in the next scene, the princess arrives with her three girls and we all just fall in love with them. It's kind of a very obvious, very Shakespearean sort of subject. So then we have to like kind of, we want to be with the girls, but we can't break our oath. So we've got this moral dilemma and obviously we break our oaths and just decide to go, with the woman. Then there's this mix between the letters that's very typical in Shakespeare, the fool of the play mixes the letters, so my letter, instead of going to my loved one, goes to someone else, and everyone finds out that I'm in love, and then there's this play within a play. By the end, we dress up as Russians. There's this whole story going on. And what's very surprising is the end. It's not a typical Shakespearean end because we talk about the end inside the play. So Shakespeare really did something very special in this play because it's a comedy, but it ends with this weird sort of drama feeling, you know?
Wow.
So it's interesting, and it's not a very well-known play. It was Shakespeare's second play, I think. He was only 25 when he wrote it. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing. So it's
Sounds
good so
like
people
you're having
can get
fun.
to know it. It's
No, it's
fun
good
now
fun.
that we're doing it, and there's only a week to go. But now it's very fun to just do it and enjoy it every day. The
Excellent.
process was very hard.
Yeah.
The process,
The process, no?
memorizing the verse, that was very hard.
And it's also a big cast, no? In both cases.
Yeah, we're
No?
12 actors. We're, yeah.
6 actors.
Yeah, still it's a big cast.
Yeah.
So we won't be able possibly, we won't be able to do it after this because it's just too much of a big setting to. So yeah, guys, you've only
Yeah,
got a week to
I
go and come to the theater.
All right, let's go with Ferran, La Tendresa.
La tendresa.
Well, introduce us a little bit to this.
Yeah, sure.
Like inspired by Shakespeare.
Tenderness itself means the way love is expressed by we humans. And it's really nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, sure, because love is expressed through actions. So our
Right.
characters are going to take actions motivated by tenderness or lack of tenderness.
Okay.
I see.
Which would be lust, maybe, the lack of tenderness?
For
Sin?
sure, for
It would be
sure.
right.
We
Good
start
one.
with
Yeah,
lack
right.
of
The lack of
tenderness.
tenderness could be.
Because one of the themes of the play, I think, is that we humans, we follow tenderness. We need tenderness. And
It's like you can't run away from love, no?
sure.
Everybody needs love,
Yeah.
even those who pretend they don't
They
need
don't,
it.
yeah.
Right?
For sure, there is this plot about family of woodcutter who live in a little small island without women.
Okay.
Because they
I've
are
seen it
fed
in
up
the
of women.
announcements.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
shit.
at the same
Oh, yeah.
time, one queen with his daughters, princesses, arrived to this island because they are fed up of men.
Wow.
So in
Whoa.
this little island, they
Surprise, surprise, no?
surprise, surprise. And we have plot and how they are going to fall in love with. Try not to betray what the queen thinks about the other gender.
Yeah.
So
I see.
yeah, there is this kind of war of genders.
Yeah.
But finally,
Wins.
tenderness wins.
Yeah.
Always wins. In our life.
What about your character?
My character is the youngest one, and it's called Blue Sky. So Blue Sky never have seen a woman. No idea, no idea. And his father told him about women, and he said to him, they are monsters with just one eye, you know. And Blue Sky is really scared and terrified, but also have this feeling of, I have to know how a woman is. I need to know how my mother was. I need to discover that. And he falls in love, of course.
Of course.
and that's Shakespeare. That's Shakespeare is 100%.
And Peter, what about your
It's
character?
amazing because it sounds pretty like mine, right?
yeah,
When
yeah.
you explain the
There are
plot,
common
but then
things,
it's completely
exactly.
different. Yeah. What about my character? My character's Barome. He's like they called in English it's these in Catalan it's pallussos cultivats, and the original one is learned fools.
Learned fools.
So the four gentlemen are learned fools, but my character would be the least fool of them all, because he, in the beginning where they all want to swear this oath of not seeing woman, not eating, I'm like, wait a minute, wait, what are we talking about here? Not sleeping, not eating, come on, guys. And
That's
I'm kind
too
of the
much.
one who's, I'm kind of the one, I think the public empathizes with my point of view more than the others, so we're still a bunch of, kind of wanting to be intellectual, but we're morons. But I would be the least moron.
Okay,
of
so
them
no
all.
food, no drink, no alcohol, and no women.
Yeah,
Kind of
exactly.
difficult. And if I may
no
ask,
sleep,
and no sleep.
No sleep.
Either.
Three hours a day only.
Only, yeah. What would be the most difficult if you had to choose one?
Food.
Food.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
With two of them, you die, right? No food, no sleep. So it's easy to say woman, but it's the thing is that without sleeping or food, there's no way to do anything else. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, the plays are on the Teatro Nacional and Poliorama until
24th of February.
21 April.
Okay.
You got time to see him.
Excellent. We have more time to see La Tendresa.
Sure.
Let's go a little bit back in time. You've both been on TV, you've done cinema, you've done theater, obviously. You, another thing you have in common is that you play instruments.
Sure.
Really?
Yes.
You just play, what do you play?
I play piano.
Hey, me too.
Yeah.
I play the piano too. Yeah, that's my favorite
And the
instrument.
guitar, no?
And
Who plays
guitar
the
as well.
guitar?
Yeah, I play ukulele and
Yeah.
guitar, but just a little bit. But yeah, not as well as the piano, I think.
And now we're doing an interview in English. Peter, in your case, your mother is from New Zealand.
Yeah, that's correct.
Has this helped you in your career, English, I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I started working here because of Pep Armengol and a movie called The Cheetah Girls, who they needed to cast English-speaking roles, and that's what Pep Armengol was looking for at the time. I was just 15 when I met him, and there were starting to be, lots of English productions in Barcelona. And from there, after meeting Pep Armengol, I met Esteve Rovira, and I got into La Riera and TV3. But it all started because of my English, actually. I don't think I would be. I actually said in an interview not long ago that I don't think I would have gotten to be, or I would be an actor now if it weren't for my English. I was
Because actually,
studying
what were you
physics.
studying? Physics?
And I was
Wow.
studying physics at the time.
Wow.
So I never actually consciously made a decision of I'm going to become an actor, and go to the Instituto del Teatro and study it. No, I was like, it was a faraway dream.
And Disney, right?
Yeah, Disney.
Another thing you have in common, Disney at your beginnings, and then you've been one of the most famous characters on Super 3, Rock,
Sure.
the famous
Yeah.
Rock. Yeah. So now you're in a Shakespeare play. What an evolution, no?
Yeah, sure.
How did you get from Rock to Shakespeare?
Whoa,
There's
that's
a long way,
yeah.
no?
Yeah, but my feeling always is I have made step by step by step by step and never rushes, And if now I'm playing a play inspired by Shakespeare, I mean, good for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, good for you. And since today we talk about sins, and particularly we talk about the 7 deadly sins, which are pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Is there one that appears more than others in the plays you're in?
What about you?
I don't know, I'm not sure. Envy, lust, there's a bit of all, but there's none that I clearly think about as, because the thing is we're trying to block sins during the play, right? And to just study and to block any kind of pleasures. I couldn't think about one. I mean, I'd say lust is what makes us break our sins, but there never actually is any lust in the play, because it's a very pure kind of thing. I think in yours there is more lust than in mine, right?
In La Tendresa,
English accent. La Tendresa.
Yes, tenderness.
we can see pride and plus wounded pride, because there are a lot of actions motivated by wounded pride. Wounded pride.
Wow.
Right.
Sure.
They say that pride is one of the most dangerous ones. Dangerous sins, no?
Yeah, could be.
There's definitely pride, in mine.
Yeah.
Well, in a moment, Ana Priscila Magriñao will join our interview with the best-loved sins of celebrities. But before that, are you sure you know the 7 deadly sins? Well, Helen Armstrong from International House Barcelona gives us their names and describes to us all of them in the following tip.
Have you ever seen the film Seven with Brad Pitt? It's all about the 7 deadly sins. Now, this was a list compiled by a monk in the 4th century, as he believed these were the worst features a human could have. But what are they? Well, the first one is envy, which is very, very strong jealousy, and you'll stop at nothing to get what you want from someone else. The second one is wrath, which is uncontrolled anger. The third is lust, which is a very strong desire. Now, it's not love, and usually it's connected with sex, or you can have a lust for power. Now, gluttony isn't just you want food, it's overindulgence, maybe what we all do at Christmas. And it's more about an obsession with food. This is linked to greed, which is when you want more and more of something, and usually you don't share it. So if you have lots and lots of money, you want more money, but you don't give any away. Sloth is extreme laziness. So maybe you could sit around on your couch playing video games or watching series all day. And who would do something like that? And the last one is pride, which can be a good thing if someone deserves it, but in this sense, it means that you think that you're better than everyone else. So, have a sin-free day, everyone. Bye.
We continue our interview with the actors Vives and Ferran Vilajosana, talking about sins. And as we said, in the eyes of religion, every mortal is a sinner. Therefore, so are celebrities, and our collaborator Ana Priscila Magrinha knows a couple of things about them, don't you, Ana Priscila?
I do. I
You
do
actually
know
do.
a lot of them and a
Okay.
lot of their scenes. Do you want to
so-
learn some of the major sinners we have
Exactly.
around the world? We should start maybe with Pride.
Pride.
What do you think? If you
A
think
good
about
one.
Pride, we could think about maybe Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, he's very proud.
For sure.
He likes to show off all the time. He loves his body. He takes so many pictures of his body, usually naked or just without his top on. I don't know if you would like to take pictures of yourselves showing your bodies, guys.
Not really.
Let's do it, man. I'm proud.
You
Can you
are
imagine? Yeah. But I guess it comes from another like lack of self-esteem that make you cover it with pride. It's funny to see when they
Yeah.
come out, right? Because there's layers.
What
I don't
would
don't want to
Freud
get too
say
philosophical
about
now,
that?
but
maybe maybe he
never
would
mind.
agree.
He's
with
just
you.
proud and that's it. Let's just don't.
Have you met anyone, like actors, mates of yours,
Who are that
you
proud?
could say, yeah, suffer from this sin?
Sure.
But we're not going to say their names now
Sure.
on TV, right?
No, we can.
We want to keep working.
Yeah, well, sure.
No, yeah.
The
I mean,
initials, maybe, like.
the initials. No. Yeah, no.
Okay, no problem. Fair enough.
But
okay.
I guess it is a typical thing for an actor to kind of be a bit of, proud. I can think about a few people, yeah. Let's just...
Let's
Let's just
move
go
on.
to another one.
To gluttony, for example, gluttony.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we
Let's
can
move on
go
to gluttony.
back in time for this one because we can talk about Henry VIII. We all know he committed a few sins, such as killing a few of his wives. But now we're talking about gluttony, and he was a really, really big man. He was never less than 100 kilos. And he even had some trouble getting through some of the doors of his castle. You can imagine the doors in a castle are pretty big. He had trouble with that.
Wow.
He loved to eat. He would drink at least 5 liters of beer every day. It's like probably breakfast, a little bit of beer, lunch, a little bit of beer. And there's a fun thing that I found out that he would eat 20 grams of salt every day.
20 grams?
I'm guessing with all his food. I don't know who got this,
How do they
this
know that?
data.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why
It's
I
amazing.
love it. But
How old did he live until?
I don't know.
At
Good
what age
question.
did he die? Because
I don't
13? I mean, I don't know, but with that diet. It's like,
he loved to eat, so yeah, he would be the
Wow.
guy for gluttony. Do you like to eat a lot? I'm guessing you have to take care of your bodies, so.
Oh, yeah.
I think, yeah, well, I mean, doing a play every day, we just have active lifestyles, and I guess we burn a lot, but I eat a lot, for instance.
I eat a lot, and gluttony is one of my favorite
Yeah,
sins.
one of your favorites.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, and you don't hurt
someone's
anyone.
gluttony.
It's not like the worst sin of the deadly sins, I think.
Yeah,
No.
and because we play theater, I think I won't speak for you, but I speak for me. I allow myself to eat whatever I want. Yeah, because
Indulge yourself.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Oh, I can eat whatever I want, and that's my permission. Nah, I don't
Now
know.
I envy you because you can eat whatever you want.
Well,
Well,
I guess we
What
take
about-
care of ourselves, but I think it's the sin I use or waste more money on. I think it's maybe the thing I use more money on, like eating out or enjoying a good meal, more than buying clothes or anything else. It's just, and then it's just gone, and it's like, so is the money, and it's like, what happened? Just a moment of pleasure, but
But
I
you had
must
fun.
say,
this feeling of
It's-
I eat my money. You know,
literally,
you really had
Yeah.
that feeling a lot.
yeah.
And now, Priscilla, what about lazy celebrities?
We were talking with Marc about this, and he gave me a name that I think it's a pretty good one for laziness. Paris Hilton. She inherited all her money from her grandfather, and she's a celebrity because of her surname, and first of all because she did this sex tape. And it wasn't even a good sex tape, you know. Like at least if you have a sex tape, just put a little bit of effort. I don't know if you have seen the sex tape.
We haven't seen it or,
No.
or done a sex tape. I don't know. I talk for myself, but
No sex tape, no.
no sex
No,
tape
no.
yet.
In a few
Yet.
years, we're not gonna
wait
be-
until we get lazy and
Well, so far.
unemployed. Then we'll do sex tapes. Sure. Right. But I didn't know she had done a sex tape. I didn't know she was famous
I
because
didn't know
of that.
that.
No.
Guys, come on.
Yeah, we need to do
21st
more
century,
more
you should know
gossip.
that.
More
Yeah,
gossip.
yeah.
No, to me, Paris Hilton, it was
Working all day
about
long, that's not
little
good. You have
dogs.
to know this stuff.
I know.
Okay.
But it's
I'll
just-
show
it's-
you afterwards the sex tape if you
Okay.
want. Don't worry, don't worry.
Especially when I'm talking too much, I think. Especially when I'm doing a play every night, I become very lazy during the mornings, and it's not a sensation I like. Because we act at 10 o'clock at the night, or
Yeah.
at 9 at night, and then that's when you're the most active, when you're working, actually.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very late. And then in the mornings, I tend to waste my mornings.
Don't be so harsh on
dreadfully.
you. You're just resting because you have been working.
No,
all
I'm
night.
lazy. I
Yeah,
can
but-
sleep my 8 hours, 9 hours. I'd be well rested, and nevertheless, waste my whole morning doing that. I need to be more driven. That's one of the things I need to do this year. No,
New
it's true,
Year's
because I do-
resolution.
like
Yeah, man. be patient.
easy
No,
on
because
yourself.
after the show, you are like really high.
Yeah.
You can go to bed. You need to
You
have
can
a beer.
you can
need
tape
to
it.
go
Yeah,
to
that's
sex tape,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh,
What about
please.
greed, Anna Priscilla?
There's a source of should we talk about envy first?
Yeah, sure. Envy.
Yeah. Is it okay for you? Because I don't want to change the page, so we can talk about envy first.
No
and there's
problem.
a source of envy, and it's Barbie the doll. She's turning 60 this year, and for so many years, a lot of girls they just wanted to look like her, which is an awful thing because she doesn't have a real body at all. But yeah, a lot of girls wanted to be like Barbie in the old times, and a lot of guys wanted to be like Ken. And they are turning 60 this year. Age is,
Okay.
time goes by for everybody.
They should make a new model where they're 60, right?
Yeah,
With all the
yeah.
curves, the 60.
Nowadays, they are getting better, and not all the Barbies look exactly the same. There's tall Barbies, short Barbies, a lot of color, different
Trans
colors.
Barbies.
I don't know if
Trans
they have a trans
No?
Barbie yet.
Oh, maybe not. Okay.
We can
I
call
made
them
that up then. I
afterwards.
thought there was a trans Barbie.
And give them the idea
Be
if they still
nice.
don't have it.
I have it at home. No.
I was gonna say something about the sex tape, but no. Let's move forward.
With the Barbie.
Move forward,
With the
Anna
Barbie.
Priscilla.
Yeah, and now if you want, we can talk about greed. And there's this guy, he's so greedy, Donald Trump. He's not just like the president of the United States of America. He has his own tower with his own name on it, the Trump Tower. He used to have this university. You can guess the name of the university was Trump University. Now it's bankrupt, the university.
Okay.
He wants everything, and you know his sentence, his motto, he wants to make America great again, and all the merchandising he used for his campaign. If you want to make America great again, give Americans something to do, give them work. Well, his merchandising, he's so cheap, he went to China to make it, and he sold it in the United States. So I'm guessing he's pretty greedy.
Okay,
That's a
next
fun
one. Let's move on
Yeah.
to Wrath, maybe? Or
Lust. Let's go to Lust. And there's a
Okay.
guy. So we talk about Paris Hilton. Now we have to talk about Julio Iglesias. He claims he has been with 3,000 different women.
Wow.
So if you count,
And he brags about it, clearly. And he smiles
he
about
does.
it.
he brags
Yeah,
lot.
that's a very, yeah, I guess now with, you know, feminism coming ahead slowly and stuff, it's not something to brag about anymore. But even 10 years ago, something it's like the more woman, the better. And it's something that society, I guess, is working on slowly.
And
You know, either girls can do it as well, or either none of us can. It shouldn't be like something that guys, you know, brag about.
still, if girls brag about that, they call you pretty nasty
I know,
things.
that's the thing.
So 3,000
Which they
girls,
should-
what about you guys?
Wow, no, 2,000 at the most. At the most.
I think that's a very personal question, and
Well, if they want to answer, I mean...
But I actually read an article about it, how people like, guys tend to say more and girls less than what the truth. Because of this society, you know, conception, it shouldn't have to be this way. But girls normally, you know, count it and say like 4 or 5 or whatever, and guys sort of added like 10 or 20 and just, you know, redondean, well, you know what I mean, up. But and it's funny because obviously it's the same, because between heterosexuals, if a guy does it with 4 in proportion, the woman as well, right?
Yeah.
You have thought a lot about this.
I have, yeah. And I've counted, and I can tell you an exact number, which I'm not going to share with you.
So you have a list.
I have a mental list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Do
not
you have
anymore.
a
I did when I
list?
was
No,
I was in my early 20s when I did it, and I lost. No, then
he lost count. Anyway.
No, I lost count because now I'm a
Okay.
more serious guy.
And the
Alright,
last
don't wanna
one?
talk about this. Yeah,
The
we'll
last
have
one, I
our
think,
fun.
is Raf.
Yeah. And Rad, we can talk a lot. I mean, you guys probably get recognized in the streets, and maybe sometimes people bother you or they don't. People from Hollywood, they get harassed all the time by paparazzis. And there's a few actors, American actors, that they are famous because they like to punch paparazzis, or they are so tired afterwards that they start punching people. Alec Baldwin, for instance, he has done it a few times. And there's also Naomi Campbell. She's pretty violent as well, and she has hurt more than one photographer. Do you have to go in the streets like this, Marcel? Like, please stop. No, stop me.
No,
Stop it.
not I'm afraid. No, it's not the case.
Okay, good for you.
Good for me, exactly.
Do you want to know what animal Peter Vives had as a pet and what their relationship was like? Don't miss our mystery question at the end of the interview.
We are back, and the subject of the Weekly Mag today is sins, and we're talking about them with our guests, Peter Vives and Ferran Vilajosana, and we have just had a glance at the sins of celebrities with Ana Priscila Magrinha. Check it out on our website if you missed it. We are finishing the interview now, as we always do, with a mystery question and Marc Broderick. Hello, Marc.
How's it going? Nice to be surrounded by a bunch of sinners for a change.
Well, tell us.
Me being the only pure one here.
Sure.
We'll see about that, Marc.
I'm
Well,
sorry I wasn't
can
here
you-
last week. I know that you took care of my balls.
I did too.
Okay, good. So,
How does it work?
well, basically, inside here we have some questions, okay? They can be a little bit tricky, a little bit on the edge of making you feel more uncomfortable than you've already felt. Okay?
Which is hard enough.
Which is, I won't go any further than that. So, if you'd like to grab one from the fruit bowl, basically,
fruit
it's a
bowl.
big fruit bowl. yeah.
Do the different colors mean anything?
If they do to you, I don't know. To me, I'm colorblind. I don't know.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So blue it is.
No,
I
no,
got-
grab one yourself as well. No,
Yeah.
no, both of you, Ferran as well. Grab one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At the same time, did you take?
I took a blue one.
You
yeah,
take a
so-
blue one. You can take a pink one.
Red.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay.
Oh, I have to
Now
take one
that
as well.
now that you
What?
and Marcella, we'll leave you out of this one for this
Oh,
week.
No,
you're
no,
lucky.
I'm
You're
not.
okay?
I'm not
You're
playing
part,
the game.
You're not part of this game.
Not usually, no.
All right, Peter.
Can I open
Peter,
it?
Let's go for it. Open
Okay,
it up.
Peter
Have a
first.
Do I have to start? Shouldn't she start because she's done this before, maybe? Right?
look. No, you're the. You have to go first.
I called him English before, and he's never going to
I
forgive me
am
for
never
that.
going to ever. You're on my list of people
To kill.
to take care of in an Al Pacino way.
Don't go in an Al Pacino way. All right.
All right, give
all
it a
right.
go. Read it out.
Should I just? Here,
Yeah.
this is the ball.
Thank you.
All right. What do I have to read it out, right?
No,
What-
just read it to yourself, and we'll understand afterwards what. Well, of course, you have to read it out.
He's not
Okay,
actor.
Marc.
He can do
Marc,
it.
Exactly,
today
exactly,
you're on
exactly.
fire.
Sorry,
You're
wait, yeah.
totally
Okay.
on fire.
What was the name of your first pet, And what special moment did you live with it? Yeah, because that's like implying I have sex with animals. Is that what you're trying to imply?
Well, zoophilia in some states is accepted depending on the size of the animal. Okay? It's true.
Is it true?
Depending on how many kilos the animal is, it can
Wow,
be accepted.
you're very well informed about
Very
the
well
subject.
informed on things.
In Ireland,
on such
is it
subjects? Sheep.
sheep is allowed?
It's okay.
And you're there's a very good
Marc.
joke about that. Okay.
Go on.
think,
Go.
My
You're
first
crossing
pet.
the
Okay,
line.
look, I had a turtle, but I can't remember its name, and I didn't do anything with it. But then I had a cat. I didn't do anything with the cat.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
But
fine.
my first pet I really grew to love was called Sushi. My cat I had for 15 years.
Okay.
He died 3 years ago,
Sorry
and
about
I'm
that.
still getting over it. And yeah, and he was my little cat.
Can I ask you?
Oh
what-
wait, sorry. Yeah, my special moment.
Yes.
I lived with it. Special moment. Look, I remember living in Madrid for 2 years. He was in his last months of living, and I took him. He was already a bit weak, and I took him up to the terrace, and we lay down in the sun. And he came here, and he was just like relaxed, and that was the last like nice moment I had with him. I remember, you know, we both like after I had like 2 years work in a series, I was on vacation finally
Yeah.
at my parents' house with my cat. And we just relaxed, sunbathing. That was a really nice moment. That was the last moment. I didn't
Satisfying?
thought I would get emotional.
I have to ask you a question. When he passed away, did you bury him?
We
Or
buried.
did you get rid of him in a dumpster?
My father poor
Oh,
thing
come
had
on,
to bury him
Marc.
because I was in New Zealand at the time when he
Okay.
died, and I never got to say goodbye
I'm
because I was
sorry.
so far away.
I think we
so-
can be very satisfied with
No, it's a
Peter's
good- it's a
answer
very good
and
question.
continue
Good
with
answer.
Ferran.
Okay.
We talk too much. I'm sorry.
Well, what about my ball? When was the last time you got angry and why? Okay.
There you go, wrath.
Yeah.
There you go.
Rough.
My anger
Okay.
has one name, and yeah, that's Movistar. Please, I love Movistar series. I love
I thought
careful, be careful.
they didn't
because they
employ
might
me
not
for the
grab you.
series I wanted to get in. It's not that.
No, it's
the
not
phone
about
company.
that. I love fiction, please. That's clear. But my last time I really got angry was because I was, well, treating to, okay, I want to change one thing. I don't remember what exactly I wanted to change, but it was so impossible, so,
It gets into your nerves.
yeah, sure. And, no,
So
it's
frustrating.
new for you,
I
that?
empathize
Or,
with that.
I speak to them in English. I just pretend I don't understand. That's it. I just go, sorry, no hablo inglés. Sorry, no hablo español.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, when you
Okay.
need to change something, right?
yeah,
You call it, I
that
wanna
was my
change from
case. I
company
needed
and-
to change something, and it
Yeah,
was so
it's
impossible, so impossible.
so hard.
And I got angry.
Winds
I'm
you up.
sorry. I want to apologize here directly
them.
to the person because
It's
not,
comprehensible.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hard
Anna
job.
Priscilla, you're next.
Yeah.
And last.
Okay. What job would you be unable to do and why? There's a lot of jobs I would be unable to do. First of all, why are you laughing? I would say cooking, like being a
Okay.
cook. I wouldn't be able to be a cook because I know nothing about cooking. The best I can do is pan tumacat with some cold cuts. And there's so many other things I could never do. I don't know.
Okay, but one is okay.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being honest, Anna Priscilla.
Thank
well,
you.
before we conclude this interview with Peter and Ferran, one last question. Why should we go and see the plays? La Tendresa and Afanys d'Amor Perduts.
I think people who's going to see La Tendresa, they are going to see actors taking real risk on stage that I hope help the audience to rehearse better their lives.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's why we do that.
That's
Finally.
a really good reason.
So many people in
To
the
go.
industry have told me that I've got to see it, and now when I finish, I'm gonna come. I'm really
Thank you.
excited. 'cause
I'll
it's-
join you if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
You can
whenever
go
you
there.
want.
It's a date?
Yeah, it's official. It's official. We're on a date. Let's do it.
Without pets,
It's
okay?
amazing. And the actors, yeah, without
We'll all
without
go,
goats
yes.
or sheep. Okay, sorry. And in my case, it's a beautiful text. It's very well translated, and it's just a beautiful play to watch and to listen to in Catalan. And we all do the best we possibly can.
Excellent. Well, we'll certainly go and see the place. Thank you, Peter and Ferran. It's been good fun. And a great pleasure to have you both today in the show. Thank you, Anna Priscilla, for your list of sinners, and Marc, I'll see you in a bit.
No, thank you for me. Okay.
Well, if you boast that you know everything about English sayings, maybe you should remember that one. Pride comes before a fall. So pay attention to our next language tip. Tim War explains this and other English sayings and idioms related to sins.
Welcome back. So, today we're looking at some expressions to do with religion. Every language has loads of religious expressions, and English is no different. The first one we're going to look at is to speak of the devil. So this one means when you're talking to one person, for example, about another person, maybe you're talking to one friend in one room, and suddenly the person you're talking about walks into the room, and you say, speak of the devil, it's John. The next one we're going to look at is to scare the hell out of someone. Now, I can relate to this one. When I'm watching horror films, I get scared quite easily. I can say, that scene scared the hell out of me. The next one's quite common in this social media obsessed age that we live in. It's called to fall from grace. This expression means when, for example, there's a celebrity and lots of controversial stories or rumors come out about this person, and we could say they fall from grace, meaning their reputation is really badly damaged. The next one is to be green with envy. This one means when you're really, really envious or jealous of something that someone else has, we can say you're green with envy. So for example, kids in the playground, maybe one kid has a great cool new toy, all the other kids want it, we could say they're green with envy. The next one is pride comes before a fall. Now this expression is kind of like a warning. We're saying that when someone's acting very, very arrogantly, puffing their chest out, really, really overconfident, in the future, something bad is going to happen to that person. That's pride comes before a fall. The next one is a baptism of fire. This is one I can relate to personally. I've just started a new job, and my first week of the job, I could say, it was a baptism of fire. It was really, really difficult, really stressful, and yeah, it was a difficult experience. The last two expressions have a similar meaning. The first one is to go to hell in a handbasket, and the other one is to go to the dogs. And they both have the same meaning, meaning that something is getting worse and worse and worse. We often hear old people looking at the world as it is today, saying, wow, this country's going to the dogs, or the world's going to hell in a handbasket, meaning that they think that it's getting worse and worse and worse. So, those are our religious-based expressions. Give them a try. Use them in conversation. Go for it.
Mama, just kill the man.
Do you like Catarres? Èric Vergés, the singer and guitar player of the band, sings in English just for you at the Weekly Mag.
Mama, life has just begun, and now I'm gonna throw it all away.
And now it's time for our second round of Guess What, our new quiz show. And to begin with, let's say hello to our special quiz master of today, Sergi Serra. Hello, Sergi.
Hi, Marcella. Yeah.
And of course, to our special contestants, Patricia Escalona and Màrius Serra. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
And Sergi, like I said before, you're the quiz master, so
no,
over
I'm
to
afraid
you.
So. Oh, God. So welcome, everybody, to Guess What? After we tested your imagination last week, today we will talk about literature, which is your field. And since we talk about sins today, we dedicate the quiz to crime literature, writers, alive or dead, with real or fictional characters. You guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm afraid so. All right.
Never better said.
Yeah. Then let's start. Pay attention, because today you will have to go through different question challenges. As always, you will discover them as you play. So you ready? Ready like ready? All right, then we go. Okay, so your first challenge will be to guess the name of a crime writer in English language. Marcella will give you clues one by one, and you will have to ring your bells to answer. So if you are right, well done, point for you. And if you are wrong,
What then?
then you'll give the other contestant the chance to answer.
Okay.
What's better than you
So you can't ring my bell.
Okay.
It's yours.
All right, so any questions?
Oh, I think it's quite clear. Yep.
Good. All right, so let's start.
Let's try the bells. Do they work? Excellent.
Oh,
Sound different,
Okay.
yeah.
right?
A little
All
bit,
right,
yeah.
so
little bit.
ready?
Mine is brighter.
Okay, let's see. First one. We are talking of a well-known writer, okay, whose works have been translated into many languages. And this author is dead,
Okay.
okay. Once this writer disappeared for 10 days with more than one.
Agatha Christie.
Well done. Excellent. Well done, Patricia.
Marius,
I know my crime literature, man.
Okay.
you have to try harder.
Do you remember, do you know what happened when she disappeared, when she went missing?
I think she went away to Bath or some other coastal town in England. And I think she was fed up with everything in her life. And for a while she wanted to think and be on her own. But nobody knows exactly why or what happened.
And they say she suffered of amnesia as well, so it was a mystery
When you
period
say
of her life.
someone disappeared, I thought about Sherlock Holmes, but he disappeared until Moriarty get it back. So,
And we're talking about
okay.
writers.
right? Yeah. But fiction and non-fiction are
Yeah, that's
Like the same.
That's correct. That's correct.
All right, so Agatha Christie, the first one, yes.
And then we are going to the second one.
Let's
All
go.
right.
Second clue, second question.
Well, we have another author, very famous but not American.
Not American.
This author sang or used to sing in a punk band called the Dancing Pigs. This writer lives in Scotland. This writer is a man.
Ian Rankin?
Well done! Well done again.
2 points for Patricia, and just to remind you, Marius, none for you.
No. Okay. I didn't know Ian Rankin was a singer
Scottish.
as well.
We still
Well,
have time.
I didn't know that he was a
Used to
singer,
be.
but he's
but
Scottish.
he was Scottish. Yeah.
What's your favorite crime writer?
I would
There is
say
no points for this one.
Patricia. Patricia Highsmith, for instance. She's not exactly a crime writer, or not just a crime writer, but Stranger on the Train. It's great.
It's
a great
beautiful,
novel.
yeah. I like Harlan Coben a lot. He's an American writer, and he's not very famous in Catalonia or Spain, but he's really good. He writes with a lot of sense of humor, and I love that.
So can I say mine?
Yeah, which
Yeah.
one is yours?
Well, it's Màrius Serra.
Oh.
I really enjoyed La Novella de Sant Jordi.
Novella San Jordi.
I thought it
yeah.
was a brilliant
Fair
crime
enough,
novel.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Lots of murdering authors there
Yes.
in La Rambla. Yeah,
I
that's it,
enjoyed
that's it.
reading it very much.
Thank you very much.
Don't you get any ideas? You cannot kill me.
No,
because
no,
I'm just
no.
winning this game.
I'm
right?
being
Okay.
killed
Well,
right
the
now.
game's not over,
Right.
Patricia. So
Exactly,
let's
and
continue.
we still have a lot of points to give you guys. So we have finished now our first round, and Patricia is on the lead with 2 points. It's the third time that I remind you that, but I think it's interesting. I think you're
Keep it coming,
you're
keep it coming.
enjoying
I'm
this.
fine, yeah.
All right, so do you have a good memory?
No.
Because Marcella is going to read the first paragraph of a famous crime book, and you can ring your bells to answer from the very first moment. But you know, if you miss, you will give the other contestant the right to answer the question.
Okay, I'll begin with the first one. In the year 1878, I took my degree of Doctor of Medicine at the University of London and proceeded to Netley to go through the course prescribed for surgeons in the army. Having completed my studies there, I was duly attached to the 5th Northumberland Fusiliers as assistant surgeon.
That's the first novel by Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, but I can't remember the name of the novel.
Which means-
Studying Scarlet?
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. You were close.
Dr.
You
Watson.
were close. Exactly.
Dr.
Studying
Watson.
Scarlet. Exactly. This is John Watson's own description of this participation in war and his injuries. And as you said, the book is A Study in Scarlet, the first Sherlock Holmes book by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So
I already said all that.
I agree.
how do you feel, Màrius?
I feel very
Well,
nice.
we haven't finished
very
yet.
Nice.
No, we still have match to play. All
Yes,
right.
exactly.
So let's
Shall
go.
I continue?
Of course.
All right. The village of Holcomb stands on the high wheat plains of western Kansas, a lonesome area that other Kansans call out there. Some 70 miles east of the Colorado border,
In cold blood.
That is
Truman
correct.
Capote's.
Truman Capote's, correct. So this is, as you said, Truman Capote's description of the village of the farming community in Holcomb, where a family was viciously murdered in 1959. And of course, we're talking about his non-fiction book, In Cold Blood.
I gave you like 3 seconds there.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
I was like, no, don't do it. Come on, man.
All right. We still have match to play.
No,
I'm supporting you, Màrius.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So just to remind
do you guys prefer fiction or non-fiction?
I prefer fiction usually, but it doesn't matter. I prefer books, well-written books, but normally more of fiction than non-fiction. Yeah.
Patricia?
It depends.
It depends on the moment.
on the period of my life that I'm living and the references I need.
Just to remind our
Okay.
audience, she's leading with 4 points.
Okay.
And Màrius is having
Mule.
a lot to win.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, I've got
because
future.
I'm just trying to be positive. Exactly. All right, so time for the last test. Very straightforward. No ringing bells here. No instructions.
Oh, okay.
It's a multiple choice question that we call the multiple choice question.
Very
The
aptly
multiple
named.
Yeah, exactly. Can you guess how it works?
Well, we have to choose between many
Between
answers.
$1
multiple
point.
answers.
No, that's I was kidding. But that's correct. Correct, exactly. So, what sentence or phrase never appears in a Sherlock Holmes book? A. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how impossible, must be the truth. B. The most difficult crime to track is the one which is purposeless. And C. Elementary, my dear Watson.
I would say B.
B. You
So
want
would
me
I,
to?
actually, but
Huh?
so would I. So I would say B as well.
Yeah.
But
so again, we're saying which sentence or phrase never appears in Sherlock Holmes
Yeah.
books.
It sounds like a tricky question because of
Between A
this
and B,
C, because of this elementary that everybody says that it's always a maybe. It's not there.
Is
but-
that your final point?
Well, let's try.
All
Let's
right.
go
B
C.
for you, C
C
for
for
you,
me, yeah.
which means 1 point for Màrius. That's correct. But that's correct.
Do you mean really that he's
That
Yeah,
never says
absolutely.
elementary?
Holmes never says elementary, my dear Watson, in the books. It was a phrase quoted by the contemporary press in parodies and then included in the film. So you were right.
cinema?
Right.
Good.
So
Okay,
4 for Patricia and 1 for Màrius. We're going to the second question. Who is widely considered the first fiction detective? A. C. August Dauphin by Edgar Allan Poe. B. Inspector Bucket by Charles Dickens. Or C. Mr. Magnifying Glass by Anonymous.
A. August Dauphin.
Pose? You said pose, no?
Yeah.
No, B.
All right,
Dickens.
meaning 2 points for Màrius.
Good for you.
Four for you. Inspector
Well done.
Bucket appears in Charles Dickens' Bleak House, published in 1952, and is one of the first. But by then, Edgar Allan Poe had published The Murders in Rue Morgue in 1941 and 2 other stories with C. August Dauphin. So he is a detective who lives in Paris with a friend who narrates their story, which means you were right.
So what's the score?
There is a story.
Ring
That
a bell.
means
Ring a
exactly
bell
2
now
for
that you know.
Màrius, for Patricia.
Yeah, because
which means...
that was the ring's fault. Because I'm not...
Marius, you are this close to lose one of your 2 points.
Anyway.
That sounded as an excuse, just kidding. But that means that we have a winner. And the winner is Patricia, right?
Well, for today, yes, congratulations, Patricia.
Thank you.
Okay, so much for the Guess What of today, dedicated to crime books. We finish the quiz again with the weekly enigma by Màrius Serra.
Okay.
You have to guess a word from a crossword-like clue, and you're given a number of letters. And before Marius's next enigma, we need the solution to this week's puzzle. So what was the clue, Màrius?
The clue was which is your most brilliant relative. 3-letter words. What do you think? You've got some relatives. What's the most brilliant relative?
You've had 1 week to crack the enigma.
But I know the answer. I cannot
Give it to us.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Here comes the sun. That's what you wanted me to do.
Well done.
Yeah, this is why, like an homophony, because you've got your son, like a father, mother, that all of them are relatives, but it sounds like the son with you. You write with O, your relative, you write with you, the most brilliant star. So
and eventually your son is your son.
That's it. That's it. Because it's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Okay.
All right, that was easy if you think about it. And now we have a new one for next week. Which
Related
is,
to
Màrius?
the sun as well. But we've got a horseman here.
All right.
This horseman always avoids the sun. And you've got 6 letters. This horseman always avoids the sun. 6 letters.
This horseman always avoids the sun. Mind you, the sun with a U. And it's 6 letters this time. Màrius, thanks so much for participating. And Patricia, congratulations.
Thank you.
Sergi, you've been a great quiz master. See you next time. Thank you so much. And it's time for a short break. We'll be right back with Èric Vergés, the singer and guitar player of the Catalan band Els Catarres. And don't miss Marc Broderick's visit to Tarragona on his quest for sins and international sinners. We'll talk over it with Marc and Matthew Tree. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Weekly Mag. We continue with a section that will surely make you want to travel more. In today's e-speakers, we are visiting a country which lies on the equator and overlies the East African Rift. It has no less than 45 national parks and reserves with a beautiful nature. And yes, we are traveling to Kenya with Merci Jeproek, so enjoy.
Hi, my name is Mercy. I live in St. Paul de Mar. I lived here on and off for 7 years. I write for InsideKenya.net, and I'm a mother and a wife, and that's it. Kenya is a beautiful country. It's on the equator, so the weather is good all year round. We have rainy season in July, and the rest of the year is sunny. There are a lot of wild animals, a lot of beaches, and it's just a lot of culture. You have to go to the Masai Mara to see the wild animals. You have to visit in July to see the wildebeest migration. And then you have to go to Mombasa for the beaches. That is what you have to see for sure. I would say Wangari Maathai. She is a woman who was passionate about forests and wanted to keep forests alive for generations, and she started the Green Belt movement for saving forests, and I love her for wanting to save the world. My favorite dish is pilau. It's rice with meat and a lot of spices. It's originally from the coast of Kenya, but now it's all over Kenya, and it's a wonderful dish. I love the celebrations when children are born. It's called a tea party for the child, and then women and old women come to see the baby, to greet the baby, and they bring gifts for the baby. I love that.
If there was a Garden of Eden in Catalonia, where do you think would it be? Today we'll discover a serious candidate, Gardens of Santa Clotilde in Lloret de Mar. Don't miss it!
Per tu no seré mai un esclau, però guanyaré la guerra per tu i lluito fins l'últim assalt amb les apostes en contra per tu. Atrapo bales amb les dents, domaré les feres per tu i accelero sense frens de 0 a 100. El que jo vull és cantar-te fins que arribi l'alba, tornar-me a embriagar amb el teu perfum, mentre fora el món va donant voltes i riure fins que ens falti la...
Are you a fan of Els Catarres? Then you probably knew that the music video of their song Fins que arribi l'alba, in English Until the Dawn Comes, is their most seen video with almost 5 million views on YouTube. And today we talk to singer and guitar player Èric Vergés. Èric, welcome to the Weekly Mag, and thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
This interview is in English, obviously, and I know that this is your first interview in English.
It is. It is my first. I'm quite nervous, to be honest.
Well,
Yeah.
well, you don't have to be. Everything will be okay. Well, tell me, before we start talking about your music, tell me about your relationship with English.
Well, I've been exposed to English from a very young age because my father speaks fluently, and a lot of his friends speak English. So, but he didn't really take the time to teach us properly. So it wasn't until maybe I was a teenager when I started took classes. But never in a very serious way.
Well, anyway, I think you do a great job. Do you travel a lot when you go out for concerts? You get the occasion to practice, I guess.
We don't really go. We travel abroad. We don't really do that with the band because we almost play here in Catalonia and Mallorca, Valencia. But I do travel in my free time, and yes, but I don't really have those chances to practice my conversation skills. So it's almost, I think I can understand everything. I watch TV, listen to music, I understand it, no problem. But when it comes to speak, I really have to make an effort because it's...
Well, thank you for coming and making an effort today. Actually, next month, talking about traveling, next month, you're going to Madrid, no, for a concert?
We do, yeah.
So how does it feel to go to Madrid to play, to perform in Catalan?
We've always been very well received. The great majority of the audience is Catalan people who lives there. But also we find some weird cases of people that speak Catalan, but they are not Catalan. They are studying, or maybe they love the sound of it, and they come and they tell you. And it's very strange somehow, but very cool.
Well, Fins que arribi l'alba is the most watched music video of Els Catarres so far.
Is it?
It has actually beaten Jennifer.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Well, your greatest hit so far. So why do you think it has become so successful?
It's a very enjoyable song. I mean, it's very happy, positive.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And the video comes, it offers that to a lot of people singing, different backgrounds, different colors, a lot of life and positivism, I think.
Yes.
So I think it's one of the keys.
Where did you find your inspiration for this song?
This song, the chorus, the main phrase, came to me when I was walking my dog. That's true.
Wow.
A lot of songs come this way.
Yes, really?
Yeah, and it was a very different song at the beginning. I came with this song, it was a very rock song. And then when we came together and started working on the album, we started playing with the songs and we came with this different arrangement. We loved instantly and we thought, that's the direction of the song.
Do you think that Tots els meus principis is your best album yet?
I don't know if, I don't like saying this is the best thing I've ever done. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's certainly the most, the album that we have worked more on it. Because we took a lot of time to make it, a lot of time to think about it, to think about the songs, the lyrics, and the production of the album. It's the richest album in that sense. But I don't know if it's the best. Time will tell that.
Exactly, time will tell. Yeah. As Catarres, you guys have been nominated, you're among the nominees for the upcoming And the Rock Awards. By the way, well, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
It's not the first time.
It's not the first time. We've been honored with a lot of awards, which are given by our followers, because it's the people who vote for it, not the critics, which I think is a very valuable thing. And I wouldn't know, anything can happen because there's a lot of good bands, a lot of good albums this year, so maybe we don't win anything, but being there, it's an honor.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, it's the people who voted for you, no? So obviously, they like your style. Have you considered maybe singing in English?
No, not really. Not with this project, because it's very clear that it's a Catalan band and it has to be this way. I don't think it's honest to change it in the middle of the trajectory. I don't think it's... Mm-hmm. Maybe one day with another band, I don't know.
Okay. Well, you began as Catarres with your friend.
Yeah.
You've been friends for a long time with Jan Riera.
Yes.
Just tell us a little bit about this relationship with him and how your interest in music began and how Catarres was born. With Jan and also with Rosé, of course, the third member of the band.
So I know Jan from, I think I was 6 or 7 years old when I moved to Aiguafreda. And we became best friends almost instantly. And then we started developing this interest of music, rock music, and we get ourselves some guitars and start playing, fooling around with instruments and forming bands.
Actually, your first band was called the Black Cats Trumpets, and then you've got the Wolfies.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah. Black Cats wasn't really a band. It was the two of us trying to play guitar, but it was terrible. We were kids. It's not really a band. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the first band was Wolfish, which was a ska rock band. It was like our school.
You said you're from Aiguafreda, no?
Yeah.
Or you still live there?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Rosé is from Centelles, which is also a small place in Catalonia. So I know you are very fond of the countryside, right?
Yeah.
And you stand up for it. Do you still go to play in festas majors, or you'd rather go and play in big festivals in Barcelona or in other places? How does it go?
We do play in everywhere we can, but we will still play in all kind of festas majors because we have the lack here in Catalonia of having this opportunity to play for the bands. And big stages, very good quality, and yeah, we'll keep doing it because it's fun. It's almost the greatest fun you can have, because in festivals you have limited times and a lot of bands. It's very stressful. But in festas majors, you get to play the whole set with a lot of people from the town. Usually it's free, so a lot of people can come and see you, and it's very good, very nice.
Well, talking about free, you are also on Spotify. You sell your CDs, but you also offer people the possibility to download your music for free.
Yes.
And like I said, you're also on Spotify. Do you think it is impossible to live off your music if you're not on a streaming platform?
For a Catalan band, it is impossible, I think. You don't make a lot of money selling records. Even if you do sell a lot of them, I don't think you can really make a lot of money. And the charm of this job, this craft, is to play live. I mean, I cannot imagine one thing without the other. I love recording, I love composing, but it has to come with a live show too.
Before we go, a final question, or not the final one, the last but one. What do you think is the key of the success of your band? The success of Los Catarres?
That's a very difficult question. I don't really know. I mean, I can guess about the lyrics, the nature of the lyrics, which is about very positive and it speaks directly to the people, to their problems, to their happiness or their daily lives. And the sound, the melodies, the harmonies are also very positive. And we try to talk about this kind of life, always look at the bright side of life, this kind of philosophy.
That's a good philosophy.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, very positive. And today you came here for the interview, but also to perform for us. What are you going to perform?
Wow. I'm going to try to play Bohemian Rhapsody, a very simplified version. So,
interesting choice. Very interesting choice and quite a challenge, I would say. Why have you chosen this one?
Well, because it's a very known song. Everybody knows it now. And it's a song that it doesn't age. It's been around since the 70s, and different generations discover it, and it's very good. And it's also it was at the beginning when we started playing guitar, we were pretty obsessed with this song. So I think it's a good way. I don't know.
Okay, looking forward to hearing it. Èric, thank you so much for coming to the Weekly Mag. And good luck, many gigs, and lots of success.
Thank you.
Before we hear Èric Vergés, it is time for the third language tip of today. To blow up, rip off, freak out, there is no end to the list of phrasal verbs linked to sins, and our teacher Tim Guinea has brought a few of them together in a story, so check it out.
Hi, today we've been talking about sins, and it made me think of a friend of mine who is very lazy. You could say he's very slothful, and of course, sloth is one of the 7 deadly sins. Now, the reason I say he's very lazy is all he ever does is lounge around all day. So you think of a lounge or a sofa, and you think of a person just sitting around there doing nothing. Well, that's exactly what he did. Well, after a while, this started to piss off or annoy his parents. Now be careful. Pissed off is a very strong, a bit vulgar way of saying to annoy somebody. So his parents decided to wind him up, and they kept on saying, "You're useless. Get out and get a job." Well, one day he got so angry, he lashed out and said, "You know what? I will get a job. I'm out of here." So he cleared out of the house, and he was expecting his parents to say, "No, wait, come back." But to his surprise, they said, "Good, go get a job, see you later." And he freaked out. So when you freak out, you lose your cool, you lose your patience. He ended up getting a job, and he got a job in a market stall selling secondhand clothes. Well, he wasn't too successful at the beginning. All the customers used to beat him down. And by that, I don't mean they used to hit him, they used to negotiate him down in his prices. Well, this made his boss very angry, and his boss used to blow up. So he lost his temper, he lost his cool, and he would shout at my friend. He told my friend that he needs to knock it off. And to knock it off, it means you have to stop doing something. And so my friend did. And he actually became a very good salesman. He started to rip people off. So if you rip people off, it means you trick them or take money from them, and it's not a good trait. Well, now with his ego of being a top salesman, he decided that he had the hots for his boss's wife, which, as you can imagine, it didn't end very well. So if you have the hots for someone, you desire them, which is another deadly sin, desiring another man's wife. And as you can imagine, my friend lost his job and had to move back home anyway. But now he's not lounging around anymore. Well, that's it from me, and until next time, I'll see you.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy, 'cause I am easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Anyway the wind blows, doesn't really matter to me. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pull the trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life has just begun, and now I'm gonna throw it all away. Mama, oh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. Too late, my time is gone, sends shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I'll have to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, oh, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I've never been born at all. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me.
How sinful are people around the world? In our section Here and There, Marc Broderick meets the strangest sinners at the ruins of Tarragona. Don't miss it!
Welcome back to the Weekly Mag. Today we talk about sins, but we'll take a short break from them. As you know, 2 days ago it was Valentine's Day, and we would like to take you to a very romantic place in Lloret de Mar, the gardens of Santa Clotilde. This is a beautiful park with breathtaking views over the sea. And when Xenia Kirian discovered this place, she fell in love with it and decided to share it with her boyfriend Alexander. This is our Home from Home section. Enjoy.
Hello, I am Alexander and this is Xenia.
And we're in the Santa Clotilde's gardens. Lloret is truthfully recognized to be the party place with plenty of bars and discos and nightclubs, really. I was really impressed when I was walking through the city, and I've seen the table which said Santa Clotilde's Gardens. And some tourists, the older ones, asked me where are situated the Santa Clotilde's gardens, and I was really interested what's happening there. And then I came here and I was impressed. I kept sending photos to Alex.
And so I came here.
And so he came there too. And this is for us a unique place, really unique.
I live in Barcelona because I study there, and the contrast for me is even bigger because Barcelona in high season reminds me like a boiling pot, and coming here together with my girlfriend in the weekends really helps.
Even in the high season, we can walk here and just feel as if we're alone. The atmosphere really helps and does make an influence on how we feel. So for us, Santa Clotilde's Gardens is the perfect formula to feel happy. The whole garden is very beautiful, and the sculptures and these mermaids and these plants, they are throughout the whole garden. So you can just walk. There is no one space where everything is beautiful and the other things are like plain. The whole garden is full of sculptures, mermaids, plants, beautiful sea views. For me, I haven't noticed a big change in the seasons, maybe because of my background. As I'm Russian, I know that winter can change everything. Here, I don't see any big changes. I see more flowers, that's obvious. I see more flowers in the summer and a little bit less in the winter. But I would say that it's beautiful in the winter time and it's very beautiful in the summertime. Every Friday of July and August, the Town Hall of Lloret de Mar organizes a guided visit to Santa Clotilde's Garden. It's organized in groups with a guide who's telling a story, a beautiful romantic story of these gardens. And at the same time, beautiful musicians play music and sing songs. And together with these sea views, it's very beautiful. So it creates a unique atmosphere. And the whole guided session ends right here with the cava session. So it's like a beautiful end of this romantic story. I would highly recommend everyone to do that.
Are sins what they used to be? You might say they are not given much importance nowadays, but people are different and so are countries. Let's discover the sins of Catalans, people from other countries, and maybe the sins of our English and Irish collaborators, Matthew Tree and Marc Broderick. Hello, guys. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So tell me, do you ever think about your behavior in terms of sins?
No, absolutely, no, not at all. Because
Never.
it's a religious concept. So if you're not religious, I've been an atheist since I was 14 years old, then sin doesn't exist as a concept. You think in terms of good and evil, good and bad, but sin, no, not at all.
I completely disagree. Like, ever since I was a child, they always say to the Catholics in Ireland, you're born into sin and you have to spend your whole life making up for that in order to be a good person to get into heaven. So I've had a different, at the minute I'm an atheist, of course, but I grew up with this idea of sin and, you know, good and bad and what you can and cannot do, etc. So today is right up my alley, you might say.
Brilliant. Well, you went to Tarragona.
I did.
Okay.
A place of Roman architecture, ruins, no, the homes of many great parties, excesses, bacchanals, and, well, the origin of the American toga party, you might say, no, where all sin and hedonism is prevalent. So yeah, it was fun. And funnily enough, I found more people in Tarragona that were more sinful or had a more twisted mind than myself.
Really?
And Matthew maybe as well, I'm not sure.
Okay, you made me curious.
That's saying something, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so what did you ask them?
Well, I asked them what sins they would like to commit, if they would commit anything in specific, what things they considered sin. I talked a little bit about stereotypes. Well, you'll see, there's a couple of different videos based on different facets of sin, so to speak.
Okay,
all right.
so let's watch the video.
Feeling so lazy to do this report today, Danny. But luckily, I'm so damn good at these reports. I am amazing at these reports. Fucking focus, man! Focus! Jesus! Oh, Gwyneth. She really floats my boat. I need a lot of gold to get this girl, though. Oh, I have so much envy of you, Matthew. I wish I was a famous writer as well. What am I to do? Just eat my sorrows away. Which sin are you most likely to commit?
I don't know.
Selling narcotics to make money.
Okay.
Greed.
Eating too much.
Right now, sloth.
I do so many wicked stuff that right now, for the moment, I try to protect myself. I have no negative vibe inside my mind.
What is the typical sin of a Brazilian?
I would have to say sloth too.
Sloth as well?
Yes, people are very lazy in Brazil. They don't want to work, only go to the beach and drink beer and be polite.
What's the typical sin for a German?
I don't know if it's a sin, but we work a lot. And it's too much.
People think that people from Catalonia usually don't want to spend this money and keep it for themselves, right?
That's true. Yes.
I don't know if it's true, but that's what people think. In Madrid, we are very proud, like we like each other a lot. And we like ourselves.
If you could murder somebody and get away with it, who would you murder and why?
Maybe my boss.
How would you do it?
Push him under a bridge and that's it.
Jesus Christ, you ask me that? Hey!
Fascist people.
My God, I killed Donald Trump and my one president.
Dallas Review. Is that okay? Can I say
Who?
that? Dallas, the YouTuber.
Who is he?
A YouTuber.
Why would you kill him?
Because he's a misogynist.
I think it would be my ex-stepmother. Sorry, auf Wiedersehen.
Lots of sinners in Tarragona.
Lots of sinners. I focused as well on the 7 deadly sins, which we'll get back to again in a minute. But as you saw, everybody has a very unusual or indeed sometimes funny way of imagining sin.
And everybody opened up.
They did.
And
Yeah.
they actually said that they were willing to sin.
They were willing to do whatever. There was lots of sinners. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. What do you think, Matthew? What was your favorite part there?
He's in
my
shock
favourite
still.
part was you stuffing a donut into your mouth, Mark. I thought, I thought that's the kind of thing they could repeat on other televisions, endlessly.
Well, that's gluttony for you, no?
Yeah.
Gluttony,
I tried
exactly.
to, the envy of being a famous writer like Matthew, the gluttony, to solve my sins. So it was, I had fun. I actually had to run to a local bar after that and get a drink because I was choking on the donut. It won't be something I will be repeating very often, I'll tell you that
So
much.
when you run off the camera, that's genuine.
It is actually,
yeah,
because I was like, I gotta get it out of my throat.
Well, that guy from Brazil
Yeah.
admitted that sloth
Yes.
was the most likely sin he would commit. And then my question is, do you think that there is a sin, a particular sin for each country?
I'm going to let Matthew start on that because I'll be very polemico, you might say, on this particular
Well, like
one.
England, for example.
England.
Yeah, very obviously, it's Brexit. It's the main sin in England. And they've been committing
it's
it for
not
2.5 bloody years, and it's still going on.
Okay, should it be added on the list of the deadly sins?
Definitely, it should be number 8. Yeah, for sure.
Well, anyway,
No doubt.
But every country has this.
Jokes aside.
That wasn't a joke.
That wasn't a
No.
joke.
No, not at all.
Okay, but apart from that, is there anything like a sin you would relate to the British people?
Well, it's directly related to Brexit, funnily enough. Pride. Pride. There is a thing when you go to England, specifically England, not necessarily the whole of Britain, but we know how to do things the proper way, and everybody else in Europe isn't doing things the proper way.
I disagree. The French would disagree with that.
Yeah, but I remember it's like driving on the other side of the road. You know, their attitude is like, why is Europe driving on the wrong side of the road? Because, you know, in Britain, that's the way to do things.
Yeah, that's a good example.
But I also think it's a hangover, and it's a kind of thing that people don't say this out loud, but it's sort of stuck in their memory somewhere, that in 1900, 25% of the Earth's surface was controlled from London. And that gives British people often a kind of, gives them this kind of pride that comes from before, something like that.
Yeah, it was the world's power.
It was the world's biggest empire at one point.
Greedy bastards. They wanted everything, no? They were like,
Well,
you
Mark,
guys committed all of them, basically.
Let's focus on Ireland, Mark.
What do we commit in Ireland? I reckon we're really envious, you know?
Envious.
Poor little island, poor little us. It's always raining, you know, we're always, you know, feeling like we're hard done by the English, hard done by Europe. The Americans are too far away. And we're envious of having, you know, a place in the sun, nice weather, you know, less of a working day, you might say. So I reckon we're quite envious, I'd say, in one way. And also, if you could term gluttony and put it into beer, if it equated to the amount of beer we drank, we also committed quite a lot of gluttony as well. But I also come up with a couple of other like really outrageous stereotypes, which I will accept full responsibility for.
Okay.
You guys do not have to agree with me, but I thought it would be quite, because the Brazilian did say that the Brazilians were sloth, and I would also say that the Mexicans can be thrown in there as well. I would say that the lust, which is one that we haven't come across yet, lust in, I think you might agree with me, ancient times, the Italians, the Greeks, no? The Greeks, these wonderful semi-naked statues, the Italians with their boudoirs and their places of like hedonism and things like this.
Well, the orgy was part of Roman and Greek social life.
There you go. Was it socially accepted?
Yeah. Totally.
It should be socially accepted nowadays as well.
Okay, Mark. Let's continue.
Okay.
With any other stereotypes?
I do. Hold on a minute. We said gluttony. I would say the Americans. They do have a problem with the obesity, the fast food culture, no? Like you ever go to America and you order a meal, it's always like 5 times bigger than a meal here, no? Greed. I would say that at the minute the Arabic countries, like places like Dubai, Bahrain, these places with lots of massive oil and gas reserves, they have a lot of money and they like to show it off, no? They build these big towers, like the Burj Khalifa. They drive the fast cars. Even the police in Dubai drive Ferraris. I mean, come on. I mean, how greedy do you have to be? Here they barely drive Peugeots. I don't even know what they drive here. You know. So
I don't know if it's greedy or pride.
Pride, I said, would be the French. The French, are very proud of their country. They have a very, their food is the best. Everything is better in France. Everything's better in Paris. I don't know. I just have this feeling that the French have you might agree with me on this one, or you not? I don't know.
They use this sentence, don't they? Le grandeur.
Le grandeur, exactly.
And they really believe it. I mean, I've had, and they're very sensitive about their image. I've often when I talk to French people, they say, "Oh, our president is not good for the French image." You know, it's like.
Well, I lived in Quebec, and in Quebec, the French look on the Quebecers as dirty French, and the Quebecers look on the French as like the real authentic ones, no? And when I talk to the French, they're like, "It's not as good here as it is back in France," you know. So it's a generalization. I accept full responsibility for this.
Let's
We're
see
not
if
involved.
we'll get a lot of complaints after all these comments.
We might be getting Twitter complaints after this, but well, it's for a little bit of fun.
You take
it's
full
a little
responsibility.
Bit of fun. I take full responsibility.
What about Catalans?
You can attack me.
What's your opinion about Catalans?
Catalans, when I came here, I was told, you know, the Catalans are mean, they're tight, they're miserly, they don't spend their money. And in fact, it was I mean, well, coming from England, they were, at least by comparison, they were incredibly generous. My Catalan friends never let me pay for anything, well, for the first few months, you know, and then I suddenly realized I had to start paying a little something myself. But in general, I found them outgoing, generous, and not in the least bit miserly. But it's later I found out that this is something that comes from the 19th century. It's a reputation that comes from the 19th century, when the Catalan business people went to Madrid and they never wanted to spend money because they earned their money, whereas in Madrid the wealthy people were basically landowners who had large tracts of land in other parts of Spain, and so for them it was easy to be a bit profligate with their money, whereas the Catalans were always like, you know, they were counting their money as they spent it.
Say pride as well. Catalans are very proud. They're proud of their football team, they're very successful, they're proud of Barcelona, they're proud of their architecture, they're proud of their artists, and they have every right to be. But if we are talking about the 7 deadly sins and pride being the root of all of them, according to ancient writings, I would say the Catalans are extremely proud.
Well, that's your opinion, Marc.
That's my opinion,
Anyway,
of course.
what else have you discovered in Tarragona?
In Tarragona, well, I've asked people some very tricky questions.
Of course, coming from you.
On the border of, like, I don't know, will we be censored or not? But let's have a look and see. All
Okay,
right?
let's do that.
If you could go back in time to a historical period and commit any sins that you wanted, where would you go?
Medieval era, and I would be very lesbian, very lesbian. Yeah.
Yes, high school. I want to make love, or I don't know.
Make lots of love.
Yes.
I want to kill Pilato, because who was the man who accused to Jesus to die in the cross. So, but thanks to Pilato, now we can go to the heaven. So maybe I killed to Pilato.
You just destroyed your whole religion.
No!
One fell swoop, you've just destroyed your whole religion.
Killing Adolf Hitler, for example. When he was a student of arts. That early.
Would go back to Franco's period, so when he was a young military, and I would just cut his tongue and also cut his right hand.
That is very specific, but I like it. I love your answer.
What's interesting there is the woman actually thought that being lesbian was a sin.
But in the Middle Ages.
In the Middle Ages.
She did say she would go back to the Middle Ages and be a lesbian.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't exactly, you know, like the orgies of the Greeks and the Italians, but, you know, amazing answers. It's amazing when you get people talking about the dark side, the things that they come out with, no, like the people that they would kill, etc.
I think you have a very special skill for making people, you know, open up and confess everything.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You know what? I learned from the very best. I mean, confession was part of my upbringing, and we always had to. Sorry, I had to bring in the whole thing, but because we're talking about sin, the concept of sin, as you pointed out at the beginning, is a religious thing. And when I was growing up, we were forced to do confession at the age of 6 and 7 years of age. We had to confess to an old man our sins. Now, what bloody sins does a 6-year-old have to tell? No? So I've developed a unique skill, I believe, in getting people to confess their sins to me as well. I was like, well, you guys did it to me, so I'm going to try do it to everybody else.
When is the last time you confessed?
To a priest, or confessed guilt in something?
No, to a priest. Like you said you were doing when you were a child in Ireland.
I must have been about 15 or 16. It's something that you had to do every couple of months, and if you didn't do it, you had this like emotional baggage on your back, no? Like, you know, you would go in there and you would say, okay, bless me, Father, I have sinned, and what have you done? Well, I said a bad word, I didn't listen to my mother, I didn't do my homework, I didn't wash up after the dishes. Like, what sins can a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old commit? I mean, it was ridiculous. And then they would make you go and say a couple of Hail Marys and it was all okay. If you ever watch the movies, they
The
always have these...
last time I can,
sorry,
the last and only time I confessed was when I was 14 years old, because in the Anglican Church, when you take confirmation, you have to be about 14 or 15, so that you, in theory, you know what you're doing. And I remember it as absolutely terrifying, because the only thing I could think of as a real sin was masturbation. So you're sitting there, I'm serious, you're sitting there, you're kneeling down on a cushion.
Are you talking about the masturbation or about the sin?
No, I wasn't masturbating at the time, Mark. I was trying to confess, for God's sake. And like, on the other side of this grating, there's this man, and you know him perfectly well because he's a priest from the church and everything, but you can't see him. And you have to confess this to someone who really is a total stranger. And I felt awful. I was trembling all over. It was a horrible experience.
They say too much of it makes you go blind, Matthew. Is that why you're wearing glasses?
Yeah, well, yeah, I got these glasses when I was in my early 50s, Mark, you know, which is quite normal.
I'm sorry.
So would you say that the concept of sin is not taken seriously anymore?
Well, a report came out about 10 years ago. I have a printed copy of it at home. 10 years ago, it's just over 10% of Catalans, specifically Catalans, went to church. And if you take Catalans under the age of 25, that means anyone in the Catalan population, it goes down to 1%.
Yeah.
And in England, there's a guy called Rupert Short, who is a Christian, funnily enough, but he's investigated all this. He says there are whole areas of Britain now which are post-Christian. In other words, people are either atheists or you have minority non-Christian religions like Islam, Hinduism, whatever. So
I went to church here once, many years ago when my grandmother was here, and I was the youngest in the church by about 50 years. And that was the truth. I mean, they must have been well over 80. I mean, most of them were on their deathbed. So yeah, definitely, those are good statistics for here. In Ireland, it's reduced a lot as well. The power they have and the sense of guilt that they have instilled in us, you know, for these sins and the feeling of guilty
changed,
shame.
No?
It is changing. Now we have
would you say it's still a deeply Catholic country?
We have a gay Indian prime minister. I mean, that would be unthinkable 10 years ago. So, I mean, that alone shows that we have moved forward leaps and bounds. Absolutely.
Is that right? Gay marriage was legalized?
2 years ago, I believe. 2 years
quite
ago
recently
as well.
as well.
Yeah. So we're making our changes. We're getting there little by little.
Progress.
Progress, exactly.
What about your third video?
Third video, well...
What else did you ask them? What else did they confess?
I tried to put them in a situation where they would feel that nobody would know who they are and get them to confess a sin to me and see what they would do, using my mystical powers as, you know, as the man who makes people confess.
Okay, well, I'm curious to see that.
Yeah, let's see what they say.
Now that you're covered, what sin would you like to commit?
Greed, go to a bank, have some money, and continue traveling around the world for some more months.
I wanna be bankrupt. Robber.
I would like to be the most beautiful woman, living in a very nice place, and all the servants were male.
Well done! Last!
I would do nothing. Like, I'll be on my bed all day. I will eat a lot.
Go to billionaire's house, try to have the same lifestyle.
I would go there in the middle of the street and stop all the cars and say, welcome to the new era for the workers. Workers will be the leaders of our world.
I'm becoming leader of the church. Yeah.
And that's a sin? It is in the eyes of the church.
It is in the eyes of the church, but but now I'm ruling the church, so it's not anymore.
Hey, that was the best answer I've had all day.
Free unitation for the whole world, you see me? I don't want no other line between you and me and no one. Furthermore, I want all the pussy them for me. So I can share a few with you, but give me all the pussy them for me. You hear me?
Well
done.
Thank you. And I wanted to point out something which, before I have a little surprise for you, the gentleman at the end was from Panama, and they speak this really intense, like it's almost close to Jamaican patois English. I would love to have taken another excerpt so that you guys could translate what he was saying. It was really difficult.
Difficult to understand,
yeah, but
indeed.
now that we're talking about the world in different languages, this one was very good. So I have a little surprise for you, okay?
Really?
So as you saw, I got these people to put on a mask and tell me what sin they would like to commit if nobody would recognize them. So I'm going to get you guys to do the same. Why not?
Are you
Finish it up.
sure?
Yeah. I'm going to start with you, Marcella.
With
and
me?
I know that green is your color. It matches
Oh
your
my
eyes.
God, I'm not sure
Okay.
I'm ready for that.
Of course you are. Why not? Come on. It can be something very bland. You don't have to go all out, okay? And
Okay.
If you just want to put it on, have a look in the
Okay.
camera and tell everybody what sin would you commit if nobody knew you were Marcella.
Okay. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Eat all the chocolate I have at home, like loads of bars of chocolate.
Gluttony. So you would.
So you keep lots of chocolate at your home?
It's hidden in compartments everywhere. It's like a chocolate hunt in Marcella's house.
Yeah, and it's hard,
Okay.
you know, not to. It's hard to eat just a little bit. So yeah.
Okay. Gluttony.
I confess. I love chocolate.
Fair enough. That'll be 3.
Is that good enough?
That'll be 3 Hail Marys. No,
Okay, okay, Father. I will do it.
Matthew, I think this flower will suit you down to the ground. I'm going to stand up and pass it over to you. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Matthew can do something a little bit more.
I can't put the mask on because then I'd have to take off my glasses and then I really would be blind. But yeah, okay. I'm going to be.
All right.
I'm going to be
give
very.
it a go. Give it a go.
I'm going to be very honest about this, although it's maybe a little embarrassing to explain. And anyway, it's a sin. The train has gone by. I'm never going to be able to commit this one. But I often had a fantasy of. Well, it's not a very original fantasy of going to bed with 2 women, but not just
any 2
women, but
Come on,
2
tell
women
us.
with whom I had a very good rapport and who had a very good rapport with each other. And I'm not talking about sex, I'm talking more about just getting on with them. And I thought that would actually be a very nice thing to do.
Okay.
But as I've been happily unmarried for the last 27 years with the same person, it's just not going to happen. But
Can I ask you who these 2 people are?
Exactly.
No, they're imaginary figures. But
That was very diplomatic. A good way to get out of it.
nobody that you would recognize at all. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any, I don't know, is he supposed to do anything? Yeah, like you told me to do what?
Well,
Like, I don't
his
know how
is
many-
lust, yours is gluttony, and mine honestly would be greed. I mean, I would love to live in greed. Like if I ever won the lottery, I would fly a private jet.
Wait,
all the
wait,
way.
wait,
Yes,
wait.
yes.
First,
Oh, hold on.
you have to wear the
I
mask.
don't need to be covered. Who cares?
Well.
I mean, I can do this. Okay, fair
Maybe
enough.
you'll be more honest.
I'll be more honest. Okay. So I would commit 2 of them. I would commit greed and lust. I would fly a private plane to Brazil for 1 full month with 10 women of 10 different nationalities.
Jesus
and
Christ.
I would carry out your fantasy, but with 9 other women.
Of
What do you
different
think?
nationalities.
Of different nationalities. I would be very fair and open about that. So there you go. That would be my sin.
Okay, Mark. Well, thank you very much for
No
that
problem.
confession.
I was going to say, you wish.
Look.
Well, I don't know.
Lust
I don't
and
know what to
greed.
say. Maybe one day this desire of
Who
yours,
knows?
this
Who
wish
knows
will
if
come
anybody's
true.
watching on TV? 9 different nationalities, 9 different nationalities.
Okay, if not, you won't do it.
If not, I won't do it. I mean, I have to be fair.
Okay. As they say, there's a saying, no? More or less it goes like that. Everything that is good or fun, it's either unhealthy or a sin, no? Something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, along those lines, so...
Yeah, and well, there's that Italian writer, Cesare Pavese, who said that something along, I don't actually have that on the cards, but I can remember it. It's a quote from him, a famous quote, where he says something like, "A life without sin would be a completely empty life.
A life unfilled.
A life, exactly. A life, a life unfulfilled.
Unfulfilled, exactly. I think I remember that one.
But he killed himself when he was 41, so he obviously didn't commit enough sins. You know.
Yeah, well, anyway, I think we're about to conclude here. Anything else to confess, sinners?
Well, I like that we finished it with some, nice quotes from Italian, literature, and we tried to, gather it all together and make it sound very, how do you say, better than it was.
Okay, yeah.
Less sinful.
Okay,
less sinful.
I agree. Matthew?
Yeah, for me too.
End of confessions.
End of confessions,
Okay.
yeah. No, I've already opened my mouth too much.
3 Hail Marys, 4 Our Fathers, and you'll wash your hands and you're good to go.
Okay, we're good to go, and thank you, Mark, so much,
problem.
and thank you, Matthew.
No problem.
Thank
See
you.
you next time. And our program dedicated to sins ends here. We've interviewed the actors Vives and Ferran Vilajosana and Èric Vergés as well, singer and guitar player of Els Catarres. He has sung in English, especially for the Weekly Mag also. Marc has found a few sinners in Tarragona, and we've played a quiz with Serra, Patricia, Escalona and Màrius Serra. If you missed any of it, don't worry, you can watch it online or follow us on @TheWeeklyMag.tv. But before we go, let's remember the clue for the puzzle of Màrius Serra. This horseman always avoids the sun. 6 letters, the solution to the enigma here at the Weekly Mag. Stay tuned and remember, keep your English up and running.
I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I've never been born at all. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me.